VHS 85, the sixth installment in the franchise, takes us on a journey through 6 stories set in the 1980s. The anthology kicks off with David Bruckner's Total Copy, where scientists experiment on a shape-shifting, tentacled alien named Rory, who initially looks like a young boy. Mike P. Nelson's No Wake is a typical vacation gone horribly wrong story at Lake Evic, where a group find themselves under attack by an unseen assailant. But the lake's water and this mysterious killer have a lot more role to play in the film than you'd initially assume. Gigi Saul Guerrero's God of Death and Natasha Kermani's Technogod are the 2 segments that bring 2 of the most gut-wrenching monsters to life. Meanwhile, Ambrosia connects with the first segment but is about an eerie initiation ceremony that an all-white family is into. Truly disturbing stuff. Finally, Scott Derrickson's Dream Kill is a Minority Report-esque short about a killer cop. Naturally, the wraparound segments and the 5 anthology segments have a lot to offer in terms of horror quotient. So, without wasting any more time, let's get this party started and explore all the monsters that appeared in VHS 85. Oh, and this is your Ratma-sized spoiler warning. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Lazarus Pit-style lake creates sentient immortal zombies. Segment 1 of VHS 85 is titled No Wake and is directed by Mike P. Nelson, who is also known for his 2021 film Wrong Turn. It's a 2-part horror anthology short that challenges typical slasher movie tropes. It opens with a group of friends at Lake Evic, a seemingly ominous camping spot. Despite warning signs and eerie signs of danger, they decide to go water skiing in the lake. However, their adventure takes a sinister turn when they encounter a sniper who brutally shoots them. Oh, and if you're wondering who this sniper was, the secret is revealed in a completely different segment. Wait for it. In a surprising twist, most of the group miraculously comes back to life, albeit with gruesome injuries. They discover that the lake possesses a bizarre power, essentially turning them into immortal beings. Those who didn't enter the water, like Robin and Jared, remained dead. The survivors, now with a thirst for revenge, aim to track down their assailant, who has unwittingly bestowed them with this horrific form of immortality. So, in the second part of No Wake, all the kids who had been shot dead by this mysterious sniper come back to life. Yes, they are basically undead, but they are not zombie-like. They have their sentience and can communicate like their previous selves. In fact, they even have an accurate memory of what had transpired in the past few minutes. Having said that, it is difficult not to ignore the hanging intestines, broken jaws and dripping brains. No Wake makes it evident that the franchise is more interested in delivering intense visceral moments than fully fleshing out its narratives. While the segment includes some amusing twists related to the mysterious lake, it also acknowledges and plays with genre expectations. The characters drop references to movies like Pet Sematary and wear nostalgic clothing, creating a sense of familiarity for horror enthusiasts. But as far as the monster is concerned, we do not get to see much in here. I wouldn't say that there was anything very original with the segment, but it does manage to build tension because of its unknown and unseen monster. You are left with this weird feeling in your stomach about who this guy is, who's shooting down horny kids left, right and center. God of Death. Gigi Saul Guerrero's God of Death has quite an intriguing premise, but falls short of its full potential, which could be owed to its long runtime for a short. The story begins during a Mexican news broadcast that is abruptly disrupted by a devastating earthquake. The camera keeps rolling as chaos ensues, which is, of course, the staple of how things work in other found footage films like Wreck. The earthquake forces a group of rescue workers, including Luis, Eddie, Miguel, Carla and Javier, to explore the depths of the damaged news station. But because of the aftershocks, they fail to get out of the building through the same path they came in. Naturally, they take a wrong turn. In their desperate attempt to escape, they inadvertently unearth ancient Aztec catacombs beneath the building. Here, the titular monster, aka God of Death, comes to life. Much like No Wake, this segment also turns supernatural in the latter half and introduces a diabolic force that revels in claiming new victims, often devouring them. As the group delves deeper into the underground temple, adorned with skulls and a statue of Mictlan, the tension builds and the horror gets increasingly pronounced. Eddie's possession ends in his gruesome self-mutilation scene and the murder of Miguel, followed by the appearance appearance of an ancient deity, Mictlantecuhtli, who wastes little or no time in killing Eddie with brutal efficiency. In the end, we see Carla as the sole survivor. She gets into some good old human sacrifice and assures the final resurrection of Mictlantecuhtli. It feels like the primary theme of the segment is cultural identity and resistance against the influence of North American culture in Mexico, as hinted at in the use of Aztec mythological references throughout the film. However, God of Death struggles because of tonal inconsistencies and a cluttered narrative. Moments of levity feel out of place in a story with such dark and supernatural elements, and these things end up diminishing the overall impact. The film attempts to blend elements of found footage horror with supernatural rituals, but the execution lacks the cohesion needed to make it truly effective. God of Technology. The short film Technogod revolves around Ada, a performance artist with a fervent aversion to technology, particularly virtual reality. In one of her performances, she speaks passionately about her belief that society has forsaken the ancient deities, replacing them with a new technogod, technology itself. Ada says that this technogod is nothing but a figment of imagination, urging people to cease their blinding and baseless worship. Ada, in a bizarre twist of fate, wears a VR headset to mock this purported techno-deity. What follows is an uncomfortable and cringe-inducing experience as Ada ventures into the world of virtual reality. It's in this moment that the film blurs the lines between reality and technology. The film takes a nightmarish turn when the techno-god, believed to be non-existent, reveals itself in Ada's virtual reality. The deity has been disturbed, and its home was intruded upon, so it brutally tears apart Ada's virtual avatar. Shockingly enough, the injuries inflicted in the virtual realm manifest themselves in the physical world. Ada becomes a gruesome spectacle, succumbing to her wounds right before the horrified onlookers. However, the audience thinks it is all a part of her act, and they break into applause. When Ada's VR headset is removed, it is revealed that she now looks like an animatronic robot. Clearly, the Technogod's assault has fused the headset with Ada's brain, blurring the boundaries between human and machine in a haunting and unsettling manner. Director Natasha Kermani delivers a bite-sized dose of technological terror that, while entertaining, falls short of delivering the spine-tingling thrills we crave in the horror genre. However, one cannot deny the playfulness inherent in the film's spirit, as it skews traditional horror conventions in favor of a more avant-garde approach. However, this very playfulness ultimately dilutes the horror elements, leaving us with a film that feels disjointed and unfulfilling in the anthology's larger context. The Seven Wrigleys. This fourth segment is actually connected to No Wake, the first segment that we saw. The story is about the weird tale of a family that's part of a mysterious organization called The Seven. Although the story is short and without many events, it will leave you on the edge of your seat. The Wrigley family has organized a macabre celebration in honor of Ruth. But what has Ruth achieved? Well, the celebration was her initiation ceremony, which is also the crux of the story. The Wrigley family members graduated into adulthood only after meticulously crafting the deaths of 7 individuals in the most creative and sinister of ways. And our cute and beautiful Ruth was actually the sniper who took down the horny, unsuspecting teens on the desolate shores of Lake Evic. What's more disturbing is the fact that the family assembles in their living room to bear witness to the horrific recording of Ruth's merciless massacre. They shower her with praise, commending her craftsmanship. However, their twisted party is abruptly shattered as the grim spectre of law enforcement arrives at their doorstep. The family's response is anything but rational. They arm themselves and unleash a torrent of indiscriminate gunfire upon the unsuspecting officers. The result is a bloodbath of unspeakable proportions, as every member of the family, including an innocent child, meets a gruesome end. Amidst the pandemonium, the camera remains fixed on Ruth. It captures a seemingly lifeless body, but Ruth comes back to life once again. She tries to kill herself again by shooting herself, but that doesn't help either. You see, Ruth had been asked by her mother not to get caught alive because that would bring down the Wrigley family name. But how was Ruth alive? It is revealed at the end of the film. One of Rose's victims from No Wake fills a squirt gun with Lake Evic's mysterious life-giving water and hands it over to a Wrigley family kid, who goes on to shoot the water onto Ruth, leaving her immortal. It is quite possible that Ruth's victims were the ones who alerted the authorities. Of course, the cops would subject her to insurmountable scientific and legal scrutiny, and that would probably go on forever. the psychopathic detective and the dream kills. Detective Wayne and Bobby are thrust into the most perplexing investigation of their careers as a relentless serial killer taunts them by mailing VHS tapes of his heinous crimes, but the videotapes are sent weeks before the murders actually occur. However, at the crux of this mystery is Gunther, Bobby's own son. Gunther reveals that his video recorder inexplicably began documenting the very murders he witnessed in his dreams. Murders that would soon materialize in the waking world. That kind of sounds like a blend of Helena Targaryen's abilities and what Freddy Krueger does. Initial skepticism from Wayne colors his reactions to this weird tale, but he soon starts to believe in Gunther's prophetic dreams when Bobby reveals that Gunther is telling the truth. As the investigation intensifies, Wayne receives another package, which contained yet another murder tape. This time, though, the detectives hold an advantage as they know the modus operandi. With knowledge of the crime and its location, they rush to intervene and warn the potential victim. However, Wayne confronts Bobby about a series of lawsuits from his past, insinuating that Bobby might be puppeteer orchestrating these elaborate crimes. He was going after the women who accused him of sexual assault. Bobby shoots Wayne in the head and goes to kill his final victim before coming back to the station to kill his son. Of course, a bloodbath followed. So basically, Gunther's prophetic dreams overlap with the actual events as Bobby begins his murderous rampage at the station. Gunther dreams about this whole sequence while waiting at the station in another one of his dreams and then goes on to see the same on the video recorder. In the end, Gunther guns down his own father. By this point, the film draws immense parallels with the film Minority Report with its pre-crime narrative and all that. Rory, a violent, shape-shifting alien. In the anthology short bridging the segments mentioned above, a group of scientists, namely Pike, Gary, Margaret and Sarah, are monitoring an alien entity that takes the form of a young boy. This extraterrestrial being absorbs information from television broadcasts, initially sparking excitement among the scientists. However, the situation takes a disturbing turn when the alien named Rory begins to assume the appearance of Gary. This development unnerves the team as Rory's room is inaccessible to Gary, and they observe him through a two-way glass. This transformation implies that Rory can perceive the scientists through the glass. So this guy has X-ray vision or what? Anyway, Sarah, alarmed by the dangerous path that the project was heading on, suggests that the project should be immediately terminated. As the story progresses, Rory's condition appears to deteriorate, prompting concerns that its high intelligence might involve feigning illness to trap prey. Pike dismisses Margaret's warning and sends Gary to administer an adrenaline shot. However, Gary was already deeply troubled by the alien's resemblance to him. In a classic twist seen in many alien-themed films, Rory uses his long tentacle with horns to attack Gary. Pike attempts to access the exit, protected by a handprint scan, but the door remains sealed, tainted by his own blood. It's implied that Rory manages to take care of the locks using its shape-shifting abilities. In the end, Rory eliminates Pike and the cameraman, then uses his tentacles to manipulate the corpses to make them imitate the workout videos that Rory had previously watched on TV. Marvelous verdict. VHS 85 falls short of delivering the promise of the original VHS movie. The film attempts to transport genre enthusiasts back to the analog past of the 1980s, but its execution lacks the energy and the horror factor that one might expect. While consistency in tone and style can be appreciated, it becomes a double-edged sword in this case. Each segment blends so seamlessly that nothing truly stands out. The effects and gore are impressive throughout, with Total Copy offering a documentary-like approach. However, the absence of an exceptionally weird or atypical entry leaves the film feeling somewhat one-dimensional. Comparing it to its predecessors like VHS 94 or VHS 99, which featured standout moments such as a rat monster in a sewer and a unique vision of hell, VHS 85 lacks those memorable highlights. Maybe we can say that The God of Death was an exception. While none of its segments can be classified as bad, none can be considered truly great either. For fans of the franchise and horror enthusiasts, VHS 85 still provides an enjoyable Halloween season experience. So I would say it's definitely worth your time, and the film deserves a good 2.5 stars on a scale of 5. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.